Dearest, beloved, divine friends, family, brothers and sisters, your friend, your brother, me, Haji, Dr. Roshan Khan, first time back out over the long holiday period and terrible rainy season that we have had, which seems not to be abating in our country. The rains have been having its share of satisfaction, unleashing its burdens on Guyana, I would say, and many other countries as well. My brothers and my friends, I wish to wish each and every one of you a merry, 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 joyful, happy life, and also a prosperous New Year. Today is July 4th, 2021, and I wish to put to you a reading today by Freddie Kissoon. Sigmund Freud was the most important signpost in Guyana in 2020. And I'll be coming out with some personal philosophies and wisdom as we now walk and serenade ourselves into the new year of 2021. Lots of things have been happening. Lots of amazing things being said. Some political masterminder to this effect, the government of the of authority at the moment, voted by the peoples of this country. If you are not qualified, anyhow, before I do that, I must let you know Sigmund Freud was one of the most outstanding psychologists and philosophers of all time. And Freddie Kissoon is saying Sigmund Freud was the most important signpost in Guyana in 2020. He is renowned to be the father of psychology. So let me read. If you're not qualified in the humanities and social sciences and not interested in Guyana politics and sociology, then I still maintain that once you live and work here, and will be doing so for years to come, that you read an excellent analysis of why the UK, United Kingdom, left the European Union by an equally fine British historian. Titled How Delusions About World War II Fed Brexit Mania by Max Hastings, Bloomberg.com, opinion January 3rd, 2021. As some of you might know, Brexit is the breaking away from the European Union by the United Kingdom, which wanted to pull away and have control of its own economy, commerce, and rules, laws generally, so to say, friends and families. And the article is a Freudian analysis of what led deep inside the collective mind of the British people, particularly the upper classes, and it came to surface with the Brexit campaign to break away. Brexit means to break away from the European Union or EU. When you digest the interpretation, then try to transport what Hastings said about British people to the African Guyana middle class and sections of African Guyanese in general. And he goes on to say, Freddie Kissoon, the rigging of the election for 5 consecutive months in 2020 revealed what has always been inside the mind of the African-dominated PNC and African Guyanese. Freddie Kissoon says the government should always be in the hands of black leadership. This was Forbes Burnham's expanding obsession, but Burnham went further. In other words, they're saying Afro-Guyanese and Forbes Burnham believe government should be in the hands of the Afro-Guyanese. Well, I'm reading and I'm listening and I'm always learning. The traditional African intellectual class and substantial amounts of Afro-Guyanese believed in the binary power. Binary mean combined, joined together. Government for blacks, business for Indians. Burnham attempted with huge success to eradicate this binary, this mindset, this concept of business for Indians and Portuguese and government power for Afro-Guyanese. So he broke it. Freddie Kissoon is saying Burnham broke it. And Freddie Kissoon is no ordinary intellectual, philosopher, political analyst, thinker, and if I may say, even a historian of class. He implemented prodigious controls of Guyana's resources, severely weakening the private capitalist sphere which decapitated Portuguese, Guyanese commerce and Indian businesses. Yes, he established certain controls. I remember the External Trade Bureau. Anything going or coming had to pass through the hands of the government with such levels of intensity, ladies and gentlemen. But something he wouldn't believe, the corruption that took place. I know, I had relatives who would bring cars in and would pay a certain officer in the Ministry of Trade under Mr. Winston Murray. Winston Murray didn't know his boy, and today they turned some of the biggest businessmen, hotelers, car dealership and so on, with corrupted money from that. But that's my view I'm giving you, which I know is a fact of history. But he did set up those kind of controls, and which he's used a beautiful word, decapitated the Portuguese, broke their businesses. Central Garage went dead, ladies and gentlemen. All the other Guyana Garage went dead. All the car dealerships went dead. And a lot of Indo-Guyanese and a few Afro-Guyanese started to import cars through trickery of gifts from overseas quarters and approved through foreign exchange earnings, my family overseas giving a gift, all fake. If Burnham did not realize this was going to happen, once he put those kinds of control, then something was wrong with his head, which caused the smuggling. And incidentally, some Indo-Guyanese to become, who were nothing, to become multi-billionaires today, with industries stretching far across on money laundering in Guyana and even in the Caribbean. One of them was arrested with $1 million US in the United States. Back to the article. Halim Majid, a former advisor to Burnham, wrote a small book entitled Forbes Burnham National Reconciliation and National Unity, 1984 to 1985, in which he eulogized Burnham for Burnham's overtures to Cheddar Jigan to form a national government in 1984. I recall that. At that time I was overseas. Yes. Burnham was too far gone in the direction of narcissism, mental confusion and ego, which pushed them to nonsensicalities and strange decisions. To the direction of narcissism, monarchical status, and maniacal obsessions to genuinely share power. See my review of Majid's book in Kaieteur News of December 9, 2005. A foolish yet interesting little book, conclusion, the Guyanese Pinocchio. That was what his article was, and he was analyzing Halim Majid's book. But he is saying that it could have been nothing like that because Burnham was too obsessed with narcissism, monarchical status, believing he was a god or a king born to power to the point of maniacal levels. But it will have appeared to me, in my opinion, that it could have come something out of it because Fidel Castro and the Soviet Union, which was technically controlling Dr. Cheddar Jigan and the PPP, were advising him the only way to have power is to have President Burnham remain as president and he be the prime minister. That's my view, ladies and gentlemen. Back to Freddie Kissoon. Out of power since 1992, the chance to reenact Burnham's claim in Guyana came in 2015. So from 1992 to 2015, 23 years, the chance of resurrecting Burnham and his philosophy came in 2015 under David Arthur Granger, Brigadier. Not prepared to code power and contest it again when election time come around, the African political and intellectual groupings decided that the configurations of Guyana that Burnham shaped in 1968 should be reclaimed. Government for blacks, capitalism for Indians. So he's analyzing that this is what they tried to do. They didn't have a problem with us doing our businesses because we have to employ them and also give opportunities, but they used the opportunity during those years to create some amazing, strange businesses. Friends and families, ladies and gentlemen, at times suspicious and clandestine, but it seems, according to him, that this is what they were trying to do. But 2020 was not 1968. 2020 was not 1980. These were past epochs, long gone. Those ages were gone. And if they believed they could have done it, ladies and gentlemen, I think I know where he's coming to. The diplomats, the international arena of diplomacy, the United Nations, the European Union, the United States of America, Canada, the South American bloc, the South African Elders Group, the African, Caribbean and Pacific nations, every nation in the world were there observing. And then we had the internet, the deadly force that exposed the reality of fraud in Guyana. So let me see if he's going there. Those epochs or era was long gone. In trying to bring back the 70s and 80s, sections of African Guyanese population almost destroyed the entire territory. Guyana was reduced to a literal joke in the eyes of the world. But it wasn't light facetiousness. It was a dangerous circus. It wasn't light joking, playing around, ladies and gentlemen. But it was a dangerous circus. In the eyes of the world, we went down to the gutters. I suggest you listen to the last program of the year of Wake Up Guyana in Kaieteur radio, played on the 31st, in which I was the guest alongside three young journalists, Kemal King, Shakima Day, and Michaela Prince. The last two spoke of the attacks on them outside of the GCOM head office. Oh, my colleagues were attacked, and I was also cursed and abused as an observer when I reported on the nonsensicality and the nonsensical attempt to steal a nation and steal an election. But here are two of them who are saying they were being attacked. They were so frightened that they went back to their offices and cried. King said that 2020 was a rude awakening for him as to what Guyanese politicians were like. He singled out Aubrey Norton for all three of these young journalists. The year 2020 will forever be etched in their minds. And imagine Aubrey Norton did that. And what the Granger and Harmon grouping did to Aubrey Norton, Walter Lawrence, James Bond, and those. Can the people who are 18 years old ever forget 2020 in their homeland? I doubt it. It's getting a bit dark, friends and families, ladies and gentlemen, but let's go. Let's try. I'm going to try to read it out. They were too young to recall anything similar as to what took place on that fateful day of March 4th, when Mingo began openly to rig the elections. But not only the young generation will forever remember 2020, but also the AFC leaders who have now been assigned to obscurity. So whilst the young people will remember the AFC leaders, Ramchatan, who is a confounded architect of the kingdom of liars and cutthroats, claiming that they were Russians in the country controlled by Vice President and former President Dr. Barachakdeo. Back to the article, ladies and gentlemen. I have to read a bit fast. It's getting a bit dark. I still am seeing some light in my recording. So let us see what I could get to the end of this quickly. Let's see if I can get to a little bit of light. But not only the young generation will forever remember 2020, but also the AFC leaders who have now been assigned to obscurity or the dustbins of history, and they will never be able to make anything good of their lives, beloved, divine friends and family. As they grow older and completely fade away, they will look back upon 2020 as their nemesis, as a period of learning and education, so to say, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to steal some light here. Finally, the youthful leaders in the PNC will grow older and will not have power in the foreseeable future. I concur. I think the PNC will never see power, and I'm not wishing them. They made such a huge mistake. They had the 5 years to win our hearts and our minds and have everyone in this country virtually vote for them. But they destroyed the sugar industry. They destroyed the gold and mining industry. They put VAT and tax on every conceivable thing, from agriculture to almost even tax VAT on the air that we breathe. So they are truly in a bad state, and I feel sorry for what they have done, because in many ways the People's National Congress were also my friends. When talking to their children in 2030, why the PNC doesn't look likely to form the government, 2020 will come up. If they are honest with their children, they will tell them that 2020 was the year that the PNC stupidly and unnecessarily destroyed itself. As for the African people in general, Guyana belongs to them and to all other race groups too. So Guyana belongs to the Africans, he's saying, true, and to the Indo-Guyanese and the Portuguese, and of course, most importantly, to the indigenous, the original peoples, what we call Amerindians. So all of us have a right to this country. All of us have a right to live and to be successful. All of us peoples. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm telling you as a thinker, and I will not be here. I'm a big man now, I'm a mature person. I do not see the People's National Congress taking power ever again in the foreseeable future for maybe at least 100 years. And who is the cause of that? They themselves. And look at the corruption and deceits that we have seen of their acolytes and their satellites and the destruction of people's lives and businesses. What they have done to people, that people will never forgive them, except the maniacal ones who probably are caught by race and opportunities. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji Dr. Roshan Khan, on the 4th of January 2021, the new year. May God bless you and your family, your friend, your brother, saying farewell, French.